You're about to listen to the Timey-Wimey Tea Time Podcast, a geekyantics.net and allgames.com production. Find out what everyone's talking about. The Doctor, of course. Doctor Who? Exactly, that Doctor. Join us live at www.twitch.tv/geekyantics. That's GEEKYANTICS. Hang out with us, ask questions, laugh, and have at it. We can't wait to hear what's on your minds and hearts.
Timey-Wimey Tea Time.
We thank you.
We thank you. Pro start. I forgot to stop the cue before I did the thing. But anyway, guys, Merry Christmas. And I'm getting some weird issues with the all game stream right off the bat. Not sure what's going on there. Interesting. Might be a special night because we got the family rounded up and we're celebrating Christmas today. So it's gonna be extra special this tea time. But welcome to another exciting installment of Timey-Wimey Tea Time, where friends gather to talk about all things Doctor Who, sci-fi, fantasy, zombies, creativity, and everything geek. I'm Yoma Lopez, known throughout the interwebs and sometimes the Whoverse as YogiZilla. Please accept no substitutes. I'm the original, the real YogiZilla, and no, I don't do yoga. As Stan has been known to say, I'm a gamer, a dreamer, an author of silliness, a disgruntled techie, a wild-eyed entrepreneur, a fistful of happy emojicons and sunshine. And I ride into battle upon a glittering My Little Pony. Out of my mouth comes laughing swords of peppermint and ginger. But above all, I hope that we can become friends as we embark upon a journey through time and space, the human condition, and merriment slash bantering. And that pretty much sums it up. I hope my audio level is good. I'm being told I sound a little bit on the low side, so I'm gonna bump up the gain just a smidge. I don't know if it's the mic level or if it's the overall audio level, but there you go. I just bumped it up a little bit. I don't like putting the mic hour the chat just confused me. They said the YogiZilla Power Hour, and then it just completely went into what I was saying. But anyway, I don't like to put the gain on the mic too high because then it ends up sounding tinny, and I have a very loud voice as it is, so no bueno. Anywho, we're not joined by anyone today. This will be the YogiZilla Power Hour, as MXT said in the allgames.com chat. But I am looking for a reliable co-host. Reliable being the key word. That's not a stab at Stan, but it's really hard finding someone that you not only mesh with, but that has the vision, the fully vested interest, and the passion that you do. And people tend to lose the drive on podcasts quite often. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. So if you're interested in podcasting, you think you're actually going to stick through it, and you have the free time, you're willing to learn, I'm more than willing to teach you. But I want to know that you're going to stick around for the long haul. That's very important. All right, everything seems to be in order. I hope the audio sounds better. If not, and yes, I am streaming on a video stream. That's what I do. I'm crazy. I'm streaming right now on the YogiZilla branded channel on Twitch and Geeky Antics. So twitch.tv/YogiZilla, but the main hub is twitch.tv/Geeky Antics for video, and for audio only, allgames.com. And speaking of which, great segue here. The Timey-Wimey Tea Time experience, hashtag TWTT, is every Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. in Madrid, 5 p.m. in London, and 7 p.m. in Bucharest. Okay, so yeah, something's going on with the All Games stream. I don't know why it's cutting in and out. That's rather strange. I haven't changed anything. It shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, it keeps disconnecting. Huh. Might be a shoutcast thing. Some technical issues on the All Games side. Well, good thing I have a backup recording for the backup recording. So we should be good as long as I have a good internet connection. Knock on wood. There. A very soft knock. So, now for the lovely things we will discuss during tea time today. In the first half, we're going to have our Before We Go Deeper segment. We're actually going to brand it. That's where we do our housekeeping, and talk about Who news, little bits and bits and pieces, tidbits, interesting facts, stuff like that. Then we go into Who Knew, which will be part of that, an extension of the Before We Go Deeper, the Whovian news. That's a new thing. I'm trying to change the format up a little bit. Then I want to get into a little brief bit about the Christmas spirit, because I know there's a lot of folks out there that are not really keen on Christmas, and I want to kind of share my feelings on that, my feels, share the feels. Then we'll do our usual Who's Who, where we get into why we love Doctor Who so much, and why it's so special to us. Finally, and if I budgeted the time, okay, we'll be in at under like 45 minutes here on this first half. We'll share our Christmas Doctor Who, specifically, teasers. I got some questions in the chat. So, what YogiZilla, what did Santa bring you for Christmas? Well, nothing yet. We're doing our Christmas gift exchange later. And to me, it's not about the gifts. I mean, that's more for the kids. Kids get disappointed when they don't get gifts. As an adult, I kind of expect it. And actually, I don't mind socks and undershirts because they tend to be stolen, and I never seem to have enough. I'm not gonna mention any names, but yeah, my family. I love you guys. But yeah, the things you take for granted as a kid and you appreciate as an older person. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, in our second half, we're gonna do our community interconnect. Yes, it's back. I know we got a lot of feedback. People were asking about where the voicemail messages were in the comments. It's back. Everybody's in holiday mode, so it was a little quiet there. And I want to keep rehashing older stuff. So I just said we'll just switch things up and bring it back when there's a lot of buzz, and it's back. So we'll engage the Twitch chat at that point, and also share some comments from YouTube, the Geeky Antics Facebook page, geekyantics.net, all that stuff. Tiger Claus says all I got was a shirt, pants, some money, and a gift card. Yeah, sounds about right. So after the community interconnect, we'll discuss Last Christmas, and that's pretty much it. Then we'll have our outro and some shoutouts. So before we go deeper, we're going for a shorter show, especially today. As such, we're probably going to be skipping the intermission or making it shorter. It'll be a briefer intermission. For those listening on the audio-only podcast feed, the archives, after the fact, it won't really impact you. It's more for people on YouTube and the folks that are listening live. We're going to take a brief break, though, because I've been drinking a lot of coffee. I might have to, go on a bio break. Just saying. You may also hear my family enjoying some of the boisterous merriment and bantering of the season right in the background. Now, like I said earlier, They're not much for having a quiet voice. And the vacuum's going on. Brilliant. Brilliant. So I told him I'm gonna do the podcast in a little bit, guys. So whatever you gotta do that's loud, do it beforehand. Nope. Anywho, I need to soundproof this man cave soon. Because consideration out the window. I love you anyway. So yeah, consider all these little extra bells and whistles in the background a Christmas bonus. For those in the IRC, I'm gonna be mainly monitoring the Twitch chat because it's hard to fluctuate between everything. And PFT says it's a vacuum hype. No kidding. I can understand with this show because this is a newer schedule. I never did things on Saturday, certainly not during the day. I usually wait for the family to die down. But like it happens Thursday nights, and I've been doing it for over a year. Whisper Live, and all of a sudden things that could have been done all day long. All of a sudden it's like, oh, I feel like vacuuming. Really? At 1 in the morning? Seriously? Good times. Anywho. A quick correction too. We were mentioning allgames.com. We were on the top 5 on allgames.com for a few days. This was a few weeks back. I haven't seen us go back up there, but we had said it was episode 13. It was actually episode 12 that was up on the top 3, on the top 5 rather, at the number 3 spot. So that was really exciting to me to see us gain some traction like that so soon. Our live listener numbers are kind of weak because people really don't like Twitch or All Games. They find them both buggy. That's kind of a shame. I find both solutions quite good. But if you have trouble with the allgames.com website, you can actually go to Stitcher and install that on your iOS device, your Apple device, or your Android device. And just look for live stations and you search All Games Radio, live radio. I think it comes up as All Games Live, something like that. And then you'll be able to listen to the live shows through that, and that's a lot more reliable. Of course, there might be times like what I'm experiencing where I'm getting disconnected from the All Games thing for some reason. It's very strange. Why is it doing that? Huh. No clue. Well, the show must go on. What can you say? For those that are listening on all games, I guess you're gonna have to just go on Twitch right now. Twitch.tv/geeky antics. By the way, YouTube, we miss your brilliant comments. There's been a surge of comments lately, and I'm gonna share some of those. Though I did discover some interesting stuff, like certain people using multiple accounts to be interesting. Let's just say that. But I welcome all comments, good or bad, as long as they're constructive and they're framed properly. When people are just being salty for the sake of being salty, that's no fun. But we do miss your comments, so bring it all. And if it encourages conversation, if there's actionable stuff there, that's a good comment, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be. Don't blow, hot air. They'll just say, "Oh, you're awesome," and not really be authentic. We like feedback that helps us evolve and improve. There's always room for improvement. So, at the very least, do say hello. Do wonderful things. And I know most of you come for Stan, the poetic voice of Gallifrey, but I hope you stay for the pudding. And hopefully Stan can sort his affairs and return. But, when life beckons, life beckons. Anywho... See what I did there? Our playlist for YouTube can be found at bit.ly/TWTT playlist. Again, that's bit.ly/TWTT playlist. bit.ly. And the TWTT is all uppercase. Everything else is lowercase. That part after the / is case sensitive because bit.ly is weird. So bit.ly, all uppercase, TWTT, and then lowercase playlist. That's it. For that. There's still more. We're definitely not done. Everyone seems to love the live readings we've done, and I'm cooking up a bunch of flash fiction. I was gonna do some stuff for today, but then I realized we're gonna talk a lot about Christmas, and I want to keep this focus on Christmas. Um, so that will not be happening. As a matter of fact, you know what? For the break, I think I'm gonna queue up some Christmas music for you guys. If we do take a quick break, I got something nice. But do expect more of that, and again, keep the feedback coming. And once again, we are live, usually, on allgames.com, but we're always live on twitch.tv/geeky antics. Unless something happens, then you can always look for us on YouTube. We might have to pre-record it or do some other thing if there's technical issues, like internet not working or whatever. Or the schedule maybe not works. Sometimes the schedule doesn't work, or we have a guest. Stuff happens. But Saturdays at noon Eastern, 5 p.m. in London, 7 p.m. in Bucharest, and 9 a.m. Pacific, West Coast. If you missed the live show, you can tune in on YouTube. Like I said, youtube.com/geeky antics, or search our Twitter feed, or search Twitter, just search Twitter, period, for hashtag TWTT. There are some weird things there that have nothing to do with Timey-Wimey Tea Time, but hashtag TWTT. And you'll see stuff, some links and conversation there. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at YogiZilla, and the network is at Geeky Antics. And Geeky Antics is working in collaboration with All Games to bring you this show and many other great things. There's a lot of Geeky Antics shows that are not on All Games, so I want to make that clear. Finally, leave us some voicemail messages. We love hearing your lovely voices, giggles, singing, and excitement. And apparently, we're not alone here on TWTT. The people on YouTube, the fine folks on YouTube, have been asking about the voicemail messages. And, we have lots of cool people that were calling in. And I guess people get a bit busy, like Lauren, for example. Where are you, Lauren? So leave a voicemail message. We definitely would like to hear from you. If you can't leave a voicemail message on our phone line, you can email us an MP3 or a short wave file, and then I'll do the conversion. MP3 is ideal for streaming. You can send that to twtt@geekyantics.net. Again, twtt@geekyantics.net. And if you just want to write me directly, I'm Yomar, YOMAR @geekyantics.net. I keep it simple. But anyway, our phone line, if you're in the U.S., is 206-415-4987. And if you're outside of the U.S., is 011-206-415-4987. So now, on to our newish segment, Who Knew? Our Whovian News. So all things Doctor Who and related tangents. First and foremost, I want to give shout-outs to Radio Scaro, Big Blue Box, and Doctor Who podcasts. These are great podcasts that have helped us stay on top of all the Whoverse stuff. And it's particularly difficult for me now, doing this solo, running a network, keeping, our family strong. Both our unofficial, Geeky Antics family, or TWTT family, and my real family. We have a large family, and it's never a dull moment. And this year has been a great test to our bonds and fortitude, to say the least. But I'm keeping my spirits up. I'm actually feeling quite in the spirit of Christmas and the holidays, and looking forward to Summer 15. And part of that is due to the great support network and the Whovian community, and just overall with all the things we're involved with. And I'm also working on countless projects, so having podcasts like this makes it a lot easier to keep abreast of all the latest stuff going on on Doctor Who and whatnot in the Whoverse. But I've also been filling in on a lot of other podcasts. You might hear me, if you listen to podcasts, you might hear me on some shows that you listen to. So you're welcome, or sorry, whichever one depending how you feel about that. So I appreciate you guys, and actually a lot of these news items come from listening to these shows. So this is a big one, probably the biggest news this week in the Whoverse, in a very shocking yet pleasing, I would say, turn of events. Jenna Coleman has signed back on for Series 9, and sources say she will be filming for all of the series. So for those morbid Whovians Hope she gets killed off. Sorry. This is cool. This kind of tells us what to expect in Series 9. I'm actually happy with it, regardless of how you feel about Jenna Coleman or Clara Oswald. It's nice that she's gonna rival Amy Pond. She's gonna end up surpassing Amy Pond. I think Amy Pond had 36 episodes under the belt, and Clara Oswald is gonna have 33, and then plus whatever's gonna happen this season, this series, whether it's 12 or 13 episodes total. So I think it's important. I think it's good. BFT says Clara needs to die in a fire. Here's the thing, though. They built her up so much with so many intricate storylines, and she's so heavily involved in the Doctor's. Here, spoilers. And if you're not caught up, I mean, you probably should be caught up if you're listening to this show. Just saying. But she's very involved in the Doctor's future, present, and past. And you do with that what you want, more so than even River Song was. So I think they need to really, with all that build-up, they need to have a better payoff before they get rid of her. So that's cool. I think there were some issues, some differences behind the scene initially, but I think they've worked it out. So I'm glad to see that happen, and I feel they'll do good things with it. I'm hopeful about this. Fans of Amy Pond, I mean, who isn't a fan of the Ponds? And maybe if you're just fans of TWTT, you guys might be excited to know that Karen Gillan, is it Gillan? No, Karen Gillan, I believe is how I pronounce it. Some people say Gillian, but it's actually Gillan. Yeah, she had been rallying the online community to get Selfie back on the air, and there's talk that if it doesn't get back on the air, they're gonna try to push for webisodes. We'll see about that. Now, Karen actually had tweeted a bunch of times, but she didn't put any link, which was actually kind of weird. I think you have to dig to find the link to the actual petition she started. But there's tons of petitions out there to get Selfie back on, right? It's a great show. I'm really a fan of it. And I know Stan was, or is, rather. I say was. He's still alive, guys. Don't worry. But one of the petitions I found was on change.org. And if you search ABC Bring Back Selfie on ABC, it should come up. That's kind of redundant, but that's what it comes up as. Or just Google petition to bring back Selfie on ABC. There's tons of them out there, so the fan community is really sounding off. I shared one that had quite a bit of backers. I think it had like 2,000, 3,000 backers on it, people that signed it. And change.org is pretty good about letting you leave comments, and it's a very slick interface, so I like that one. There are some lesser known sites that show up at the top of the results. I'd probably avoid those unless it's something that Karen or John Cho share on their Twitter feeds, on their verified accounts. There's a lot of funny business out there too, sadly. You will find my name on there, so I look forward to seeing yours. And in fact, if you signed the petition or you end up signing it, leave us a quick voicemail message, 206-415-4987. Let us know what you love about the show. And we got some people showing up here in the chat. Cool. Good to have you folks. All right, moving along though. I always get this mixed up. I believe that the title of the show is Dr. Puppet, or Puppet Who, whatever it is. I haven't watched enough of it, but it's really well done. It's the Puppet Doctor Who show. It's an unofficial kind of fan creation that the BBC, I think, has signed off on, and I think it's part of the Nerdist network, which I'm not a big fan of the Nerdist network because of Chris Hardwick, but they do have great content. So they released the newest Christmas special on Christmas Day, of course, and I haven't got a chance to see that one yet. But from what I have seen of this show, the Dr. Puppet, it's great. If you've seen it, let the TWTT community know what you think. Love to definitely get your feedback on that. But last but certainly not least, all right? Have you ever wondered what John Barrowman, aka Captain Jack, all right, What does he do when he's not playing Captain Jack Harkness or the evil Mr. Merlin on Arrow? Yeah, that's him. And he's definitely not doing any Torchwood stuff, so we won't talk about that. But apparently he goes back to Scotland to do theater, specifically pantomime. And I did not know this until Alistair Kennedy, good old Ali, from 42 Level 1, and our own Star Wars Rebels cast, which is on the Geeky Antics Network. Not on all games, sorry. But 42 Level 1 is on all games, so you should check that out. He pointed this out, and he happens to be another Scotsman. So now you know, and knowing is half the battle, right? Something like that. A while back, also, we had said that Capaldi might be one of the first non-Brits to play the role of the Doctor. And we were definitely wrong, because David Tennant is actually Scottish. And I'm pretty sure that diversity probably goes back further. So, there you go. I'm going to take a little sip of my coffee here. And yes, Torchwood does need to come back, BFT. I also hate that they left that in a cliffhanger. And I don't want to spoil that. I think you need to experience Torchwood unadulterated. But so if you haven't, watch it. It's worth it. It's the darker side of Doctor Who. Is definitely, if you ever wanted some more serious, darker stories in Doctor Who, Torchwood brings that. It's the underbelly, the adult version of the Whoverse, and it's very good. Unless you're easily offended, then you may not want to watch it, because there's a lot of interesting stuff like homoeroticism and risque scenes. And I think they have potty mouths, don't they? Yeah, I won't even hint at what they said. There's a few parts where you're like, whoa, did they just say that? But it's a great show. If you could put that aside, the plots are just so good. But make sure, also, if you guys are into Twitch, video game plays, or just cool people hanging out, check out BFT9000. He's a good guy. As a B as in Brian, F as in Frank, T as in Tom, 9000. He's a good guy. And he's always supporting our shows, so I appreciate you, buddy. But let's talk about the Christmas spirit. And I know I've been beating this dead horse on a lot of different podcasts, but this is where my heart is at right now. And we're talking about Christmas Doctor Who episodes, so it's only fitting. In a time when atheism and agnosticism seem to be becoming the in thing, many feel that Christmas is being attacked, and many feel like Christmas doesn't have a place. It makes me a little sad, and it makes me wonder if our hearts are being overcome with the bitterness and angst that comes from perhaps over commercialization, chest beating, Bible thumping hypocrites, and financial problem. I mean, you definitely don't want that triumvirate of issues. That could leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth. But I also, outside the holiday, I think about Doctor Who in particular. Can you enjoy Christmas specials without believing? Without enjoying the holiday? My immediate answer is yes. But I can see where all the imagery and music and all the stuff that has become iconic for Christmas can kind of annoy people after a while, even if you do like this time. But I'd like to know what you think. Keep it positive, keep it constructive. Make it so that we can have a conversation about it. 206-415-4987. And again, if you're outside of the U.S., 011-206-415-4987. Yes, we are U.S.-based, as if you couldn't tell. And before we go deeper with the Christmas Doctor Who episodes, I hope that everyone can set aside any dismay or pain that they may have this holiday season. And trust me, I've had deaths in the family. I'm going through my financial problems. There's always some kind of family drama going on. Believe me, I understand. But regardless of what you believe in, what you celebrate, or how you feel, my hope is that this show, Timey-Wimey Tea Time, will bring you a little joy, peace, and hope. To me, that is the true nature of Christmas. And really, who can't get behind that? Like, who actually wants to be miserable and stressed out? Like, no one actually wants it for themselves. So people embrace it because they want to just make everyone else miserable and it's easier. But don't let it consume you guys. Step away from the darkness. And I look at Christmas tree and I look at the lights, and to me it's like the Christmas tree is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's hope. It's symbol of hope. Yeah, it's become a very commercial thing, but to me that's what the Christmas tree reminds me of. It's a beautiful thing, and I really love seeing the nice, beautiful, decked out Christmas tree with all the lights and pretty colors. It makes me happy. And on a more personal note, to my friends who are experiencing tough times now, again, you are not alone. And I believe we can help each other. I hope we can give each other hope. I believe we could support our individual and collective efforts. And the only way we can do that is if we avoid that vicious trap of isolating ourselves. Trust me, I know it's easy to become a hermit and just separate yourself from the things that may be stressing you out. But that only allows you to wallow in self-pity and and it also makes it so that you end up forgetting that there are people that actually really give a crap, the people that actually really care and will be there for you when it matters most. It may not be those you expect it to be, which we've all encountered throughout our lives, I'm sure. And probably still encounter to this day. But do not let that bring you down. There's reasons and seasons for people in our lives, right? So let's go into 2015 on a high note. And that is my message to everyone. I wish you guys on all games could hear it. But I think I'm still getting disconnected for whatever reason. So, oh no, it looks like it's fine. Nope, disconnected again. Maybe something on with the server that's going on there. Because I have no issues, and there's nothing else that makes sense there. But moving on. Who's Who? This is our segment when we share why we love Doctor Who. And if this is your first encounter with Doctor Who, here is a brief kind of intro. Doctor Who is about a man-alien/alien man who travels all of time and space in a handy blue box called the TARDIS. That's TARDIS, time and relative dimension in space. Very clever. It's a spaceship, it's a time machine, and it's bigger on the inside. Oh, and it also translates all languages and functions as a sort of IV unit. But that's jumping ahead. The Doctor Who universe spans over 50 years of content, including TV shows, movies, audiobooks, comics, and even puppet shows. And it's tons more than that. That's only the beginning. It's video games. I love me some video games. The series has had some heavy hitters right for it, including the late Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, yeah, and Neil Gaiman. Anyone? Mirror Mask? I'm a big fan. So it's kind of a big deal. And what I love about it is that even though it's science fiction, it has kind of magic to it. It has magical themes to it. There's this sense of childlike innocence that we experience through the Doctor and often his companions. And they really tackle a lot of human issues. So, and that's what really good science fiction does ultimately. It gives these very foreign, alien kind of concepts, and then it goes, boom, science fiction. And and here's the real deal Holyfield, so to speak. Now I was checking something on the stream that I noticed. Okay, we're good. But yeah, it's relatable in that aspect. It's not this really far off, these far off concepts and stories where you can't relate to it and you can't suspend your disbelief. So I think that's very much worth noting. But anywho, we're about to get into our brief intermission, so everybody can take the little, bio breaks, grab a drink, grab whether you're having coffee, tea, or maybe eggnog. Hopefully virgin. It's a little early to be drinking, at least here in the States. But yeah. But before we do that, some teasers for our Christmas Who discussion. What I'm gonna do here, I was gonna talk heavily about A Christmas Carol, the Matt Smith Christmas episode, the first one that he did, if I'm not mistaken. That's the 11th Doctor, right before Peter Capaldi. And I was gonna also talk about Christmas Invasion, the David Tennant, the first David Tennant Christmas episode. These specials, these specials, both of these are fan favorites, particularly the A Christmas Carol. But I'm just gonna talk briefly about them because I didn't get to really. I like to watch them and rewatch them to really take some copious notes and digest it. A lot more stood out for the Christmas Invasion, whereas the Christmas Carol, for some reason that one, I really enjoyed it. I love it, but I haven't watched it that much, so I don't know what happened there. I think I actually skipped it in the first run because I was so into the main storyline, and it felt a little more like an aside, even though it really wasn't. Because they're usually pretty good on Doctor Who. They're good about weaving in the Christmas specials into the main story so that they're not just these filler or side stories, saga type things. But we'll talk about those briefly right now in the teasers. And then in the second half, we will talk about the latest and greatest Christmas episode. It just aired a couple of days ago now. Peter Capaldi's Last Christmas, which I'm going to tell you right now, I loved. Absolutely loved it. And I'm actually so happy that we get to have a positive, salt-free discussion. Because I hate having to dissect the show and say, oh, I really did not like this. This didn't sit well with me. This is going to be all positive things, all good things. And keep you in the spirit of love and joy. That's what we're going to do. No salty stuff. I'm going to try to avoid all salty stuff as much as possible. And BFT says he got his sister Doctor Who stuff for Christmas. That's awesome. So he's a new Whovian. And he's getting his family into it. I'll check that picture out in a second here. Oh wow, he got her he got a Doctor Who tea kettle with the diffuser that looks like the TARDIS, and the keep calm, I'm the Doctor. And see, that's actually awesome because Douglas Adams did write for Doctor Who, so that's actually a meme that makes sense. Everybody has these keep calm, whatever things, but they have no idea where that's from. You know? Don't panic. You know? Don't panic. Anywho. Just a little quick gripe there. A nerd rage moment. Not really nerd rage. Just me being silly. Alright. So let's start off with Matt Smith's A Christmas Carol because I didn't get to watch much of it, so there won't be that as much talk. But I really enjoyed what I did get to see of it. It's been a very busy week, and one thing I have to say, I've said that of the new Doctors, Eccleston is my favorite, and I stand by that. But then beyond that, I mean, you can't really put Peter Capaldi in the mix yet. I'm really digging him, and I think he'd be one of the greats overall, like one of the great Doctors of all time. Between Matt Smith and David Tennant, I've always leaned towards David Tennant, but I have to say I really like going back to Matt Smith. I love his physicality and what he brings to it, and you see the beginnings of this paternal Doctor, and it's just beautiful. So I really like that, and Matt Smith really brings it home. His facial, expressions, the way he runs about, just everything about it is so great. And of course, it's just nice seeing this Whovian take on a classic, Charles Dickens. It was Charles Dickens, right? I hope that's not wrong. Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I mean, a timeless classic, and it's just neat the way the Doctor takes that to convince a gentleman. Well, so here's the plot. A spaceship is about to crash. Amy and Rory come out of nowhere, and this is just after, I believe, after Rory. Again, spoilers. You guys should be ready for them. Brace up. There'll be a lot of spoilers. Rory waited 2,000 years for Amy to come back because he got stuck in the past, and they got reunited. Rory's wearing Roman Centurion armor, I believe is what it is. Or is it Spartan? Oh, it's Centurion. Whatever. and Amy's wearing a police vest. Uh, this is a lot of fun stuff here. And so they come in and it's like WTF, you know, what the fudge? There you go. It's just you just get confused, and the crew is confused. Like, where did you come from? The honeymoon suite? What? What's going on here? And they're trying. The spaceship's about to crash. They're entering the atmosphere, and they see a bunch of clouds. They're trying to figure out why there's so many clouds. Very interesting stuff. And then Amy's like hoping that the doctor shows up on time for once and saves the day. He doesn't show up on the ship, but he shows up on the planet, which I think is future Earth. And there's a rich mogul kind of guy, a tycoon, and he owns the skies, but he won't make it so that the spaceship can land safely. A lot of weird stuff going on. He's got like some kind of like field generator that's like beaming out from a big building, a big tower. He's like this Grinch that lives in this fortress of solitude, in a tall tower where he rarely takes visitors or whatever, and he's just a total like bah humbug, grumpy pants kind of guy. He's a Grinch. He's a Grinch, and so he's the Ebenezer Scrooge of the story, obviously. And the daughter figures if I could do the whole Christmas Carol thing, show him the past, the Ghost of Christmas Past, show him the present, and then the future. Boom. And I think actually Amy's supposed to be the Ghost of Christmas Future. And like, see, I didn't even see that. I like everything's so hazy right now in my head, but it's just really cool because he ends up showing the guy his past. He found some lost footage from his childhood, which explains why he hates Christmas now and why he's such a mean person, because he wouldn't grant this family their wish. It's the husband, the wife, and the kids. The wife's sister is in cryogenic sleep as collateral for a debt that they own, 4,500 Gideons or something, and he won't even let her out for Christmas just for that one day, you know. So the doctor's trying to warm up the old Scrooge's heart, and he shows him his childhood and how his father was kind of abusive, and kind of helping him remember why he is that way, and that he used to love Christmas and he used to have that innocence and that joy in his heart, and he lost it. And it's just very beautiful things here, very beautiful things here. Because I relate to it on a personal level just because I never really had that intimate, that warm, fuzzy relationship with my dad. He wasn't abusive, but I never felt like it was awkward to hug him, give him a kiss on the cheek, or vice versa. We just never had that connection. So when I see situations like that where a character doesn't, or just any person doesn't connect with their father, I know exactly how it is. It's tough. So you either go one way or the other. You either become what your father was, or you go beyond that and you try to be a better person. So that theme alone, I think if I get to watch this and really enjoy it uninterrupted, without the hustle and bustle of the holidays, and who knows, maybe next episode of TWTT we'll discuss more Christmas episodes. I think A Christmas Carol may be my favorite. I know a lot of people put it as their number one of all time, or at least the modern series. And there are, I believe, 2 classic Christmas specials, but it was something they didn't really want to do that much of before. The first one was the William Hartnell Feast of Stephen, which wasn't really a Christmas episode until the end where he broke the fourth wall and wished everybody a Merry Christmas or a Happy Christmas, whatever it was the actual words, I don't remember. But and there was another one I can't recall. But the Christmas specials have become really a staple of the new Doctor Who series, starting 2005 and onward. And I know a lot of people love A Christmas Carol with Matt Smith in it. And I can see why, just from that little bit I got to really enjoy and focus on. But the one I did get to see more and really let it kind of just soak in was the David Tennant Christmas Invasion, which was recommended by one of the fine folks in our chat, BFT9000, and a bunch of other people liked it too. So I revisited it, and this is the first Christmas special of Doctor Who. And by revisiting it, I found that it is fantastic, and actually a big milestone. What's interesting is that the Christmas Invasion was bundled, was packaged in as part of Series 2, not Series 1. Which makes sense because it's the introduction of David Tennant's 10th Doctor, and there's no Chris Eccleston in there. This is actually just after the Doctor regenerated. And in fact, it is the introduction to Time Lord regeneration for new fans, so that's a big deal. And what's beautiful about it is, even though Rose Tyler's kind of being a spoiled brat in a way, because she lost the guy that she thought she knew. We saw this also with Clara. What do you call it, Clara? With Clara Oswald, with the 12th Doctor. So be kind of a brat about it. Like, I thought I knew him, and I don't know who he is anymore just because his face changed. Well, he doesn't know who he is either, because this is where they really start, driving home, really emphasizing the fact that the Doctor kind of loses a sense of self every time he regenerates. And there's a sort of cycle, a process that takes place. So, this is through Rose Tyler, we get to experience what regeneration is and get our hands held through what could be a very difficult process if you're not familiar with what happens, how they introduce new actors and new doctors, new generations. So that's very brilliantly done, and it's a big milestone in the overall series for sure. And I also feel like this served as a backdrop for the Martha Jones hate, because a lot of people got attached to Rose, and they liked the whole romantic stuff going on there, and they really played that up. And these what is it? The first is series 1, 2, and part of 3, if I'm not mistaken. And then they introduced Donna Noble in that Christmas special. If I have my timelines right. That was in the Runaway Bride, which wasn't very Christmassy. I think they brought back the Santa Claus robots, didn't they? I loved Martha Jones, but a lot of people hated her because they wanted to see Rose and the Doctor become a thing, I guess. And then they said the writers made it seem like Martha was gonna go in a different direction, and then she ended up falling in love. So people fell asleep watching the Martha Jones episodes for some reason. I quite enjoyed them, and yeah, actually, Martha Jones was. Yeah, she was the one that was predominantly through Series 3, and then Donna Noble became the companion. Yes. And you know what? A lot of people do not like Series 3, but I think they have great stories there. Though I have to say, Series 1 and 2 did go, just watching the Christmas Invasion, I really wanted to watch all of Season 2, like, just marathon watch it. But I had so much to do, and I was like, it's not going to happen. I was putting together some YouTube videos and prepping for the show. It just wasn't going to happen. So, but watching that Christmas Invasion made me really want to get into that. Hey, the blue guy in the house. What's going on, man? So, there's a lot of good stuff here. I mean, I love this quote here, and this shows more about the identity issues that the Doctor was experiencing. He goes, am I he asks Rose, how do I look? And he says, am I ginger? And there's a great dialogue there, but then after that exchange, he goes, you gave up on me, and he goes, oh, that's rude. Is that what I am? Rude and not ginger? It's just so good. That line, that whole bit, those lines, that series of lines, just so freaking good. I greatly enjoy that. And the Doctor kind of goes on ranting how he is known to do. And this is definitely a ranting, bantering type doctor. Eccleston wasn't as much. He was more of the shut up and let me think kind of guy. He's a little more on the rude side, less about the pleasantries. So while the doctor's going on about this, all this stuff, having a conversation with himself and whoever he bumps into, this new race, the Sycorax, their leader, says, "I demand to know who you are," and then the wonderful 10th Doctor, played by David Tennant, goes, "I don't know." I don't know why that just tickled me so much. There's so many good things in this Christmas special. So he keeps asking himself a few times throughout the episode, what kind of guy am I? I don't even know what kind of guy I am. People ask him, "Who are you?" And he's I don't know. And eventually there's an epic sword fighting, and which is interesting because the Doctor's using that hands-on, that direct. Hey, Ray Jenny, what's going on, man? And this is an interesting thing too. We find out that there's a regeneration cycle, an initial regeneration cycle, that allows the Doctor to keep regenerating in case he gets maimed or whatever, injured. So that wasn't something that I can't think if that was something that was done before. It's not coming to me right now, but my memory's terrible. It might come back to me later. But he gets his hand chopped off, and then he regenerates it, and he says, "This is a fighting hand." All of a sudden, he's a better swordsman, and it's just little touches like that, and it sets the groundwork further that the Doctor can be deliberate with the regeneration. So he chooses specific kind of faces, and maybe he chose a different Doctor because he wanted to match Rose. He tried to pick a face that he thought maybe she would find pleasing, because the Ninth Doctor was more of a older gentleman. So we see the regeneration explained so nicely, so many rules laid down for old and new Whovians alike. And at the end of the fight, the Doctor offers him the Sycorax leader mercy. He says, "Hey, I'm gonna spare your life, but you have to promise me that if I do, you're gonna leave Earth alone and tell all your people when you go back to them that, the Earth is defended or whatever, something like that." I forget the exact exchange. And the leader promises that, but he has some honor, but not really, because he asked him to finish him, to kill him, and he wouldn't do it because that's not the way the Doctor operates. So of course, the leader has to try to sucker punch him when the Doctor throws the sword down in the ground and starts talking to his friends over there. The leader comes rushing at him, and I think the Doctor throws a tangerine at a button, which causes the cliff to crumble, and then the Sycorax leader falls down to his death. And he goes, "I'm that kind of guy. No second chances." So that was very interesting. And another important thing that I noticed in this episode, I mean, there's a lot of great nuggets here, but another thing that's very, very big as far as setup and setting the stage, and helping us really understand what's to come and what's really going on, with all the Doctor Who stuff. Again, they're doing a good job of striking the balance between serving the fans and the new viewers. The Doctor talks about how the universe is starting to take notice of Earth because of all the probes we send out, and we're just a very noisy planet. And that really explains the upcoming invasions on Earth, because there's so many, and I've had a problem with this, how many stories, in modern Doctor Who take place on Earth. I know that a Doctor has always been in love with Earth, but it's just frustrating when it's always like ex-alien race invading the Earth, which by the way, Donna Noble is oblivious to, because she's always away doing something else, taking a nap or traveling somewhere else that's not where the things are happening. So that's fun. But anyway, let's talk about Last Christmas, and then we'll go into the break. So Peter Capaldi, Last Christmas. It also stars Jenna Coleman as Clara Oswald and Nick Frost of Shaun of the Dead fame. Yes, yes, and Hot Fuzz and all that stuff. Playing Santa Claus, which is appropriate because Nick Frost, that sounds like a very Christmassy name. And I'd say right off the bat, he is a great not a great doctor, great Santa. He'd be a terrible doctor, but he's a great Santa. He's a little sassy, but he's got the cheer. He's got the look. I actually, if it wasn't for the fact that it's Nick Frost doing what he does best, I would not have recognized him immediately. Because they did a really great job with the makeup, making his eyes look a little older, doing the beard, and just making him a little more plump and jolly looking. Very great job. So kudos there. I love this episode. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. I mean, should I talk about it right now? No, I think we'll hold off for the second half. Because if I get into it, but I will say that right now, all right, it's the most recent in my mind, but right now, it is my favorite Christmas episode for Doctor Who. And I will also say that it gave me the feels. It definitely gave me the feels. And I think ultimately that's the most important thing, isn't it? If it gives you the feels, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So anyway, I'm queuing up some music here before we go on the break. The break might actually be longer than I expected because I'm actually kind of hungry. I'm gonna eat something very quick, but I want to keep the momentum going. And hey, I was trying to keep the first half under an hour, and I guess that did not work out. We had a lot more to talk about than I thought. But I hope you're all enjoying this special Christmas episode. I know Christmas is not everyone's bag, but give it a shot. Give us a chance. And when we come back, we'll talk more Doctor Who, guys. Sounds good? Oh, and Reddit says, FYI, every now and then, iTunes gives away free episodes of Doctor Who. Yeah. Amazon does this sometimes, too. Or they'll do an episode that normally isn't available for streaming. They'll make it available as ad supported. Though right now, if you're an Amazon Prime member, they have tons, and thank you for reminding me of that, tons of Doctor Who content for free, included as part of the Amazon Prime membership. In fact, they have the Matt Smith Christmas specials as a thing, the David Tennant specials as a separate thing, and then all the seasons up through 7.2 or 7.5, whichever way you want to look at it. The second half of series 7 with Matt Smith, his final series. They have all that included, and then you could watch series 8 in the last Christmas special, but that you have to pay for, which is fair enough. But if you want to get caught up, Amazon Prime. I don't know if Netflix has all that stuff. I know they used to, but I feel like with Amazon Prime, I don't need anything else right now. They got everything I really want and need. So, anyway, we'll be back. I'm going to play some royalty-free music by TechnoAxe. You can go over to technoaxe.com. That's techno with a K. And the wonderful thing about the site is you can get permission slips, so just in case YouTube or some other site gives you a hard time saying, "Oh, that's copyrighted music." No, it's not. And here I have permission, permission sheet, rights document that says that's all right. And it is licensed to the Creative Commons, so everyone can use it as you please, even if it's for profit. TechnoAxe, Techno with a K, great guy. You can donate to him. He doesn't ask for anything, but if you donate, I'm sure that helps him keep doing what he does. We appreciate you. Make sure you check it out, technoaxe.com. And I'll see you guys in the second half.